Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Um, in the second part of our interview, I prepared some questions. My first question is, as a victim of parental abuse, how do we heal, or any kind of abuse, how do we heal materially and spiritually from it?
How do we heal materially or spiritually from the parental abuse or any kind of abuse? This is a very, I would say, large question, and we can say that we can ask, how do you heal from any past scars? So this is one type of bad experience or painful experience that one had in the past, and there are other types of experiences. You may say, how do I heal of my own wrongdoings also? So you are asking about how do you heal from something that somebody has done to you and that was painful, but also you can ask, how can I heal from something that I have done to others? No, you can feel bad about it, you can feel guilty about it and things like that. So our karma is very complicated and we have been doing things in ignorance. So first we need to see things in proper perspective. If you see things in proper perspective, it's easier to understand them, it's easier to accept them, it's easier to deal with them, and it's easier to get free from the consequences of what happened in the past to you or what you have done to others. So if we see that nothing is an accident that happened, and that everything that happened to us somehow needed to happen, that we need to learn something from that we have to learn something from this, and according to the law of karma, that actually whatever we get, we have somehow deserved from the past by our previous activities. So maybe it was not from this lifetime, but maybe it was from the past life. Now the common argument is, how do I know that I have done this? And it's not fair that now I am suffering because of something I don't know I have done. Well, one way to know that you have done this is that you are having a consequence of something. So by this you can conclude that you have done something. And if you understand and if you believe that the law of karma is precise and it's neutral, it's not partial, it doesn't, punish you and spares me, or doesn't punish me, it's equal to everyone. Law of karma is equal to everyone. So if you believe in the law of karma, then you can understand if there is a consequence, there must be a cause of something. So this is how you can understand that you have done something that has brought you to experience unpleasant events, pain, abuse, and things like that. And of course, it's not easy to understand for many people, and therefore we don't hit people with this information immediately. But we help them first to heal in different other ways. But this kind of understanding, I think, brings about much deeper healing when you take full responsibility for your past, present, and future. And when you understand that you are responsible for what happens to you. Now, this is not the same when the victim feels guilty because of being abused. This is not the same thing. This is much deeper understanding. This is philosophical understanding. This is actually understanding of the truth of the situation, of what happens. And because of this misinterpretation of this point, people like, for example, children or women who are abused, they sometimes say, oh, I was made to think that I am responsible, that it's my fault that I was abused, or that I have deserved this abuse by how I dealt with my parents or something. This is not true. You have one deserves abuse because of something he has done in the past, but maybe not necessarily in this lifetime, but in the past life. And we are all serious offenders. And now we don't know it. Now you may be an innocent child in this life, but in past lives no one was innocent. Otherwise, law of karma doesn't make sense. Otherwise, there is injustice, there is partiality, God's laws are whimsical. It doesn't make sense. If God's laws are completely precise, then there is no actually injustice for anybody. But again, you can say there is misuse of understanding, and the abuser will make you feel guilty that you deserve this, and you are the one. And like if a man abuses a young girl who is maybe almost growing to be a woman, he said, "Oh yeah, but she seduced me. She tried to attract me and things, and that's why I raped her," or something like that. So this is a very rascal argument, because he is responsible. He is responsible for not abuse the girl. It doesn't matter if she was whatever she was doing, because like she's a minor and things like that. So they may, I mean, the lawyer of this guy can say in the court she was, seducing him and things like that, but he's more responsible. She might have done that, but he is more responsible. So it's his responsibility to not abuse her. It doesn't matter what she does. And so if we understand this law of karma in proper perspective, then we understand it's easier to heal. We can understand that that was in the past. I have learned something. And what we learn from this experience is, what do we learn from the experience of being abused and experiencing pain? We learn what not to do to other people. We learn what not to do to other people, because we now know how much it hurts. We now know how much it hurts. So therefore, we shouldn't do this to anybody. This is the lesson. But some people, they say, well, I abuse others because I was abused, so it's natural that I do that. So this is a rascal argument. If you were abused, the lesson was not that you should abuse others, but the lesson was that you should not do this to others, because you know how it feels and know how painful it is. So people just twist things, always twisting things so that they can do nonsense, but this will not help them. So these are some of my thoughts about healing and abuse. Yes?
Can you give me a practical example of how to deal with this, as someone who is, for example, listening or trying to heal? What is a practical example how to what to say, how to deal with this person who got so hurt and maybe feels guilt, and not just the proper responsibility, but guilt actually?
This is a job of professionals. I'm not expert in that, who know how to help people to heal. But this healing done by psychology and medicine doesn't go very deep. Until person understands that nothing is an accident, then they will not be completely healed. And of course, there is, I mean, we are just dealing with child protection in ISKCON, and we want to protect the victims and those who were victims, also to help them heal. And we don't want to tell them this is your karma. This will not help. but to have full understanding that they what have gone through is horrible. It is really, really bad and really painful. And I think they have heard about law of karma, they know about this, and they maybe feel themselves that I have done something in the past to deserve this. Maybe I have been abusing, not maybe, I have been abusing someone in the past if I was abused. But that doesn't mean that we should let abuse happen. We have to stop abuse immediately. We have to be very rigorous, very strict with abusers, otherwise new abusers will come. We have to protect children very much. So they first of all create safety, that they are not abused anymore, that there is no chance, that there is some monitoring, are in a safe environment. That's the first thing. Then maybe they can, have counseling sessions where they can talk about or how they are working on it, and also implement different policies that will be more protective in preventing any further abuse.
Does it mean also policies for your own life? Like setting your own rules in your life how to prevent as the one being abused getting abused?
I mean, if somebody is abused, I would definitely help them to get educated and to prevent any further abuse. But also ask them not to abuse anybody else, not to abuse others, because this happens, that abused people, they become abusers. So they need to understand both responsibilities, to protect themselves and notice if somebody is trying to abuse them. Therefore, I think education of the parents and education of children is very important, especially if they are going to a boarding school where they will stay and sleep and things like that. I think this really, really has to be done. Education, preparing them and telling them that this is the material world, there is a danger at every step happen, so you have to be ready. And the history of abuse is there, everywhere, even in ISKCON. So just be ready and know what to do.
So, can I conclude that, if I understood it right, that focusing your on the spiritual realization that the law of karma functions here, and we need to learn and take responsibility of this, of our lives, and we, yeah, this is very, very important, rather than going shallowly on a material surface level into this problem. So it needs a deep spiritual understanding.
Yeah. If you want to really be healed, you need a deep spiritual understanding. That's a proper conclusion. Because if you don't understand why something is happening, you have doubts. And in what you have doubts, or in whom you have doubts, you may say, I have doubts in nature. But what is nature? Like bunch of mountains, bunch of rivers, and sky and planets. So what is nature? So basically, if you have doubts in God. If you have doubts in God's laws, you have doubts in God's justice. And this is not good. Because God is here to help us, He is not here to hurt us. But we are getting hurt by the material energy because our own controlling mentality, because our own past activities where we have exploiting others and torturing others. And it is compassionate in the beginning not to mention law of karma, but actually at some point any victim has to confront the fact that nothing is an accident. Otherwise, how can they be healed? there will always be this doubt. Actually, I was unjustly treated and God has allowed this, so therefore God is not merciful and God is not just, and God, he doesn't, he doesn't understand, and he's protecting some people and some people he's not protecting.
Thank you so much. To my second question. My second question is, in the process of bhakti, we shed our false material identifications to come to our true self understanding. A person with personality disorder, though, assumes different personalities to be themselves. How can we know that our spiritual self is not just another illusionary character we fall into, like in a personality disorder?
You don't have to worry about that because you will not have this realization very early. It will take time until you come to some realization of your spiritual identity. It may take lifetimes. So you don't have to worry about that right now. That this will be another personality that you are identifying yourself with. But actually there is gurus, bogus gurus, and there is people who claim that they can tell you what is your original form, what is your original identity, and then they tell some people that they are peacock. And then they start to behave like peacock, but they still have a human body. So it becomes very, very funny. So some gurus claim, I will tell you what is your eternal identity, and because I am better guru than this other one, he cannot tell you this. And the most important identification for us is actually that we are a servant. You may be in the material identity and have material roles, and you may have a spiritual identity and have a spiritual role, spiritual function, but your main role, your main identity is related to serving someone, to service. And Bob Dylan, who is got a Nobel Prize for poetry, he's a pop musician, Bob Dylan, he said, it may be the devil or it may be the God, the Lord, but you have to serve somebody. So this is it's called Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma means our eternal occupation, our eternal characteristic is service, and especially service with love. And if people have multiple personalities, you can tell them, engage all of them in Krishna service. They will all become devotees. Engage them all in chanting Hare Krishna. You feel now you're a king, you feel tomorrow you are a criminal. Let them all chant Hare Krishna. Then they will all merge into one eternal identity and they will be happy.
Thank you for this answer. I want to go a little bit deeper into that and try to ask, how can we then, how do we feel, okay, this is the identity I was actually looking for in this process of bhakti? Like you said, it takes a lot of lifetimes, okay, but like, is there any yeah, you know what I mean, like a clue or hint how to feel well situated in this eternal identity and not feel like, oh, this is another role I play in ISKCON?
Well, as I said, the main quality of your identity is service.
Okay.
And whether you are serving as a friend of Krishna, or you are serving as a servant of Krishna, or you are serving as a parent of Krishna, or you are serving as a lover of Krishna, all these roles have one common characteristic, and that is actually service. So if you identify with being a servant, that's a very strong identification. And you can never fail with this. And then over time it will become clear in which way you are most attracted to Krishna and in which way you want to serve him, whether it's as a friend, as a servant, as a parent, or as a lover. So you will see, maybe you like to serve Krishna in a neutral Shantarasa, where you are maybe like a tree or a grass or something that enhances Krishna's pastimes. So you will see, but don't be afraid that you will be frustrated, because you will not be frustrated with your eternal identity. You will be happy because this is your original position. So you will be happy with your eternal identity when you realize it. You will not be disappointed.
Thank you very much. Um, so my third question is, what are the symptoms of fanaticism, and how do I avoid becoming fanatic in Krishna consciousness?
In all religions we have fanatics, and usually these people don't have a strong faith, and then very strongly stick to certain rules and regulations, and they say that my religion is the only way, we are the best, if you don't follow me you go to hell, there is only one way. Now opposite of fanaticism is being too loose and being too, you don't care about any rules, you're just, everything is okay and things like this. So fanatics are usually fanatically strict, and we have wonderful process. Like fanatics want to renounce also very much, to renounce things, but at the same time they are very much attached to many things, but they don't want to admit it. So, and Krishna consciousness is so nice because actually you don't have to renounce almost anything, you just have to purify it by engaging it in Krishna's service. So you don't have to renounce your desire to sing, you just have to sing different songs. You don't have to renounce your need to eat, but you eat food that is offered to Krishna. You don't have to renounce your need to speak, but you speak about Krishna consciousness, you don't speak about material topics. So practically almost everything, maybe there is a couple of things that cannot be engaged in Krishna service, which are extremely sinful activities, but practically everything can be purified by being engaged in Krishna service, and that's a mature approach to spiritual life. Fanatic is actually afraid of falling down because his faith is weak. Yeah, fanatic is afraid of falling down because his faith is weak, and he is trying to hold on to external rituals, external things, and he does not look at the essence of the spiritual process, of a religious process, the essence of religion, the essence of relationship with God, the essence of life. But he's trying to hold on to external things like dress or rituals, or even sometimes dogma, doctrine, like fanatic is dogmatic also. Yes, something like that.
That was incredibly valuable, since I would call myself quite fanatic. But on the other hand, people told me, hey, in the beginning of our time in Krishna consciousness, we were all fanatic. So it takes a little relief
Yes.
for me. So you said you should beware of people saying, oh, this is the only right way and everything else is hell. But are we not Are we not saying this? This is the only right way. Everything else is Maya.
Well, Prabhupada actually said that any process that helps you to develop love of God is a bona fide process. He didn't insist that people become a Hare Krishna. He didn't insist that people chant only Krishna's name, but he encouraged people to chant the names in their religion. So he said, there is this verse, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhaktira dokshaje ahai tuki apratihata yenatma suprasidati. Paradharma, the supreme occupation of the living entity, is the one who develops your love of God. And what is important that it is unmotivated and uninterrupted. Then the soul can be happy. If it's unmotivated and uninterrupted. So this verse doesn't say you become a Hare Krishna. It speaks about love of God, which is a universal principle. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, give up all religions and surrender unto me. So in one sense we are saying that we are the best, but we are also saying that this is not the only way. Actually, the only way is everywhere the right way. In every culture there is this right way. There is the how you say, the right way, the proper way, the way that will bring you to God, that will bring you results, that will bring you your development of love of God. So you can meet mature people in all religions. When you meet people who are mature in their understanding of religion, in their realization and their knowledge, they will all agree. They will not fight. Neophytes, those who are beginners, they will fight for their supremacy, for their how you say, dominance. But actually mature people, they will agree that they understand the basic principles, and they will agree that God doesn't send only one son. God sends many sons because there is many people, and he wants to reclaim many souls in many different ways. He gives different processes by which one can go back to his original consciousness. So what attracted me to this Vedic knowledge and this movement and the teachings of Srila Prabhupada is actually universality of it. I would never join any kind of sect or religion or anybody who claims we are the best. Prabhupada was speaking very universally.
So, if I'm fanatic, then I am so attached to also my false ego, my identification with my beliefs, that I say this is my opinion and this is the only true opinion, like only through this ritual you can attain love of God, and that's what I've learned. And so essentially that's not it. That's not the case, then that's not the essence.
No, I mean, rituals can be various in various religions, but we have to look at the essence. What is the essence? And also, as our teacher said, palena pariciyate, it means we judge by the result. Palena pariciyate, we judge by the result. So you have to see if people are. One scholar in the 70s, while Srila Prabhupada was here, he says, your disciples, they are mad after God. They didn't come to our churches. They have been born in Christian families. They didn't come to our but now they are so mad after God. They are so attracted and they are so happy. So this person was not our member who was doing marketing for us, but he was just an external observer, and he has noticed this.
Thank you so much. I can just add that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when mad after God, he was crying and dancing and laughing like a madman.
Yes.
So this can happen when you're getting the essence or when you're fanatic. This is when you get the essence, yes.
If you realize the essence, this can happen, but then it's very deep. But in the beginning, you can experience some symptoms of ecstasy, some intense emotions, because God, by His mercy, He wants to show you that this is not just Indian mythology, and that this is not just a story, but actually you are not on that level to experience these ecstasies non-stop. So once you come to a higher level, then you can experience them more frequently, as God desires.
Thank you. My next question is, how do we develop good leadership? And
Is that the last question?
no, actually, what are good leaders? Yes, that's the first question. What are good leaders? And which characteristics do good leaders have in Krishna consciousness or in general?
A good leader, actually, leadership is service. People maybe think that when you become a leader, you become a master. But actually, leadership is service. And you can see, I mean, nowadays, these leaders, because they have to deal with the epidemics, they have to work so hard in many different ways and, speak to people and speak to journalists, somehow please the public or convince the public that they care and do things also that show that they care. So leadership is service. A leader is the servant first, and they want to what do they want to serve is to help people to grow. This is a very general statement, but basically in Krishna consciousness, a leader wants to help people to develop their Krishna consciousness. He wants to create material and spiritual environment in which their Krishna consciousness can grow, in which they can practice Krishna consciousness. He is showing it by example. He is practicing himself. He is happy in practicing himself. He is happy to serve people. And leader is basically like a father. The ideal of leadership is given in the phrase Raja Rishi. The ideal of Vedic leadership is given in the phrase Raja Rishi. And Rajarshi is a blend of two words. Raja means king and Rishi means sage. So king who is wise, king who is spiritual, king who is practically like a sage, but at the same time he is managing the affairs of the country. So therefore, the perfect leader must have both Brahminical and Kshatriya qualities. Brahmanas are intellectuals, priests in society, spiritual guides. Kshatriyas are administrators, military, those who take care of the country's or government's administration, governmental people. These are all Kshatriyas. Of course, soldiers, fighters, they're also Kshatriyas. Military leaders are Kshatriyas. So one has to basically have both. Usually there is one class and another class, and they are somehow leading together. They should cooperate. Bhagavatam says they should cooperate to lead the public properly. But ideal leader would have both qualities. And Shamodamas-tapakshocham kshantir arjavam evacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. There is a description of Brahminical qualities in the Bhagavad Gita. Control the mind, control the senses, practicing austerity, practicing cleanliness, then tolerance, then religiousness, then they have knowledge, they have also realized knowledge or wisdom. Then Kshatriya's qualities of Kshatriya is leadership. They know how to lead, and they lead in battle. They will not send people to the war and they stay back. This is what modern leaders say. They give an order that you go and fight in Iraq, and they say they sit back. No, former leaders and kings, they will be first with the sword or with the whatever, with the bow. They will be first in a row. In the first row, they would fight. So they will be leading by example. Kshatriya also, he gives charity. Kshatriya gives charity. This is one of, and the main duty of a Kshatriya is protection, especially protecting elderly people, women, children, cows. He basically protecting everyone in their country and enabling them to live peacefully. So protection is a quality of a leader. He always will protect people, and also he will facilitate their spiritual development and their service to God and relationship, development of the relationship with God.
So, can women take this role of a leader? And if so, how?
Well, there is very capable women today, nowadays, and in the past also in Krishna consciousness, and they were not always having a title of a leader or a position of a leader, but they were actually leading by example, by their exemplary behavior. They were very chaste, very loyal to their husband, very chaste. They were very Krishna conscious, they were very dedicated. And now some women have managerial, so sometimes they get the position of a temple president in ISKCON. And recently it was approved by our governing body, GBC, Governing Body Commission, that ladies can be Diksha Gurus. They can initiate disciples. Out of Shastra to see if this is bona fide, and they have concluded that this is bona fide. So now I don't know of anyone, any lady that has become a Diksha Guru as of today, but I believe that in the future there will be, because now this is approved and they can take up this service. So they can do managerial position. We have also on the GBC, I think we have 3 ladies. And there is, 30, maybe 40 members, but maybe more. But there is 3 ladies. So this is a management and leadership position. And they can be preachers also. They can lead in a Brahminical way. So, some of the ladies are very knowledgeable. They are members of the Shastric Advisory Board. They give courses, exemplary in their Brahminical behavior, and in that way they are also leading. So yes, this is happening and this is possible.
Thank you so much. So, how do we develop these good leadership qualities?
How do we develop leadership qualities? I think the beginning of the desire to develop leadership qualities, if you see a good leader, and we have an ideal leader in the personality of Srila Prabhupada. He has been a wonderful spiritual leader, very excellent, and he himself, before he was running a business, so he had also business experience. So if you find somebody who is your role model, you're thinking, I want to be like him. So I want to develop qualities as he has. And then when we read about about lives and teachings of great personalities from the scriptures, like Narada Muni, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, then many other devotees who are described in the scriptures, then we see that they manifest certain qualities in certain situations. So we think, oh, I would like to be like this, and I want to develop these qualities. And then, of course, we have a list of qualities. So if we have a list, we can check, okay, am I developing the quality of patience, tolerance, persistence, courage, humility, all these qualities that are required for service. And these lists have, so this can be helpful in developing your leadership qualities. And one important aspect of leadership is taking full responsibility. So you take, instead of blaming others, take responsibility for your actions, for your reactions, for how you deal with others. And you always want to help others develop and take responsibility. And you want to help the mission of spreading Krishna consciousness, educating people about Krishna consciousness, about the benefits of Krishna consciousness. So, yes. Anything else?
Not with leadership. But another question there is, the last question. So, I want to be taken serious by my senior devotees or authorities. Why is that so important for me? How can I deal with it? What can I do about it?
This is not a bad desire. That means you want to show that you are serious and that you are reliable, that you are responsible. So by acting, by behaving in such a way that builds trust, you can be taken seriously. For example, if you promise you will do something, then you do it. And if you cannot do it, you tell them on time. You tell them timely, you tell them in advance. You say, oh, I'm sorry because of I cannot get back from the city on time for this meeting, so I just want to inform you that I will be late because I got stuck in the traffic or something. Because to you, the trust of others, not only, I think I would say everybody, the trust of others is important to you, then you always are very careful that you do things that increase trust and you don't do things that decrease trust. So this thing about being taken seriously has to do very much with building trust. Because if they trust you, they will take you seriously. Okay? Any other sub-question?
Yeah, the sub-question I have in mind is, so if I feel like I'm trying my best to build this trust, but I feel like my senior devotees are not in informing me about the current situations and engage me enough, what can I do about it?
I don't understand. What do you mean they are not engaging you enough and not informing you about the current situation? What do you mean by that?
Should I say a specific situation where it happens, or
If you like, you can.
like, for example, these times right now are quite uncertain, and let's say uh, I have some doubts if my senior devotees know more about the situation, and if this could be a relief for me, because I'm thinking about this current situation a lot. Um, so how do I approach them? How do I approach the situation with them?
But you can just ask, how do you see the situation? What do you think about the situation? What information do you have about the situation? I have heard this, do you think it's true? Just ask some questions to clarify, and you get broader picture. if you hear something from them, you say, oh yeah, that makes sense, and I didn't think of that. And you just paint a broader picture when you get more information from different people. And then you can just be in more knowledge of what's happening. But I'm not sure if this is exactly what you wanted to ask.
Your first question also gave a lot of insight already. Your first answer, so yeah.
Okay, so can we
Um,
finish? Or you have something else?
no, that's actually it. Yes.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you also. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.